They don't see that it was clearly listed on the website. They think it's rude to make them wait in line. They can't believe you won't be open this Sunday. They think you're the crazy one. They're not normal customers, oh no. They are. The Patronarchy.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to a new episode of The Patronarchy, where we're open for business and ready to talk about the customers that didn't want good service, they wanted good servitude. I'm your host, Vincent. You like that line,
That was funny. That was pretty funny. Sorry.
I'm glad you like that line. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Vincent. Thank you for checking out this episode. And if you're a returning audience member, thanks for coming back. And today, to talk about the tales of the customers that we unfortunately will never forget, I have my good longtime friend and entertainer, Liz Tripoli.
Guten Tag, guten Tag.
So Liz, I've obviously known you for a long time, but the people, they don't know you. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, as far as this show goes, first of all, I've worked in food service my entire life. Don't recommend it. I'm a comedian and do some shows, random, strange variety shows around town, host an open mic, all the usual things that Pittsburgh comic people try to do to, distract themselves from the fact that they work food service jobs.
And as someone who used to be one, I can attest to how accurate that is. Oh my God. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So Liz and I, we met through the comedy circles back when I was still active in the comedy community. Yeah, we've done some shows together, worked on some projects together.
Good times.
Good times. Very good times. Giving each other rides, or mostly me giving you a ride. But I don't know where
I have given no one a ride anywhere.
I realized how dumb I was sounding about halfway through that.
But I like to take you on an emotional ride, I feel. So I think that counts.
It does. I went somewhere. But anyway, yeah, so we've had a few other comedians on the show so far. Krish was on the show a couple of
sweet.
Yeah, Zach was on the show.
Zach is perfect for this show.
Yeah. And Sarani, who doesn't still do comedy, but she did for a while. She was like on the first episode. So
who?
Sarani Wellesby. Oh, you never met Sarani?
Oh wait, no, I do. Wow, a long time ago. Yeah.
It's been a while. Yeah,
I feel bad. I haven't talked to her in like 6 years. I forgot she existed. I'm so sorry.
Well, she's not as active in the comedy community like she used to be. So like me, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, "Oh, right, Vincent used to do this stuff."
In my head, you still do, even though I know you don't, and you haven't for like a while. I just always think of you as a comedian.
That's what I do.
So
I still get people who like, I once again, this is me being like, redundant or whatever. I've mentioned on the show a few times how I used to work at a movie theater. I've not worked at that place in like 5, maybe 6 years, and I still get people like, "You still work at the movie theater?" Like, no.
Well, that's funny because I still associate you with movie theaters. Yeah. And again, I know you haven't. I'm aware you haven't worked at one for how long, but it is like a thing. Like if I were to go to a movie theater, in the back of my head, there's Vincent. You know what I mean?
Oh no, it was a good time. Yeah. Especially like because when Brian was on the last episode. Brian's also a movie guy. He's got his own podcast, the Cinema Psychos Show. Go check out that podcast. And we inadvertently injected some semi-movie talk into the conversation because it's just gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I still talk about movies all the time. I'm always ready to throw an opinion out about something. Today's opinion. Probably not going to go see the new Jurassic World movie. Probably not.
No.
Like, oh man, the old cast is back. They've been back before, and they didn't make a difference.
We did this already.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're coming back. They've been back. They were in the other sequels. They didn't make them any better.
Some part of my brain just puts all of those movies together. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that is a new one. It is different, right? But I'm not going to see that either.
No. I'm just like, oh no, dinosaurs are taking over the world.
What?
We have guns.
That's good. Wouldn't that be great if that's the whole movie and they're just like, okay, well thanks. Roll credits. Yeah. And just bam.
I just wish Jurassic World took place in the same universe as like the Tremors franchise.
Wow.
Because then I would just like, not only would be like there's dinosaurs and graboids existing in the same universe, but then you would have Michael Gross's character Bert, who who in the second Tremors movie had like a mounted head of a graboid on the wall as like a trophy kill.
Oh, wow.
And I just pictured him like having like a T-Rex head right next to the graboid head. He would totally do it.
It's a huge wall. Little head.
It's a big wall.
That's had to be a big wall.
Anyway, I gotta stop the movie talk because that's not what we're here for.
It's not what
we're here for. We're here to talk about your encounters with the Patronarchy. So Liz,
yes.
how many stories do you got? How many stories you got for us today?
Well, I mean, I got a couple in my head. These are stories I've told so many times that I'm like, I got them lined up in my brain. But what I wanted to talk to you about first, because I'm curious, is from working in service forever, there's always bathrooms, and I find that bathrooms are mysterious places to customers. The most ridiculous things I've seen have been women's bathrooms. And I'm just curious if I know some bathroom stories you had from when you worked at the movie theater, but like, have you had the horrific experience of people not knowing how to potty anymore when they get to the public bathrooms, or is it just a restaurant thing?
On more than one occasion at a job, especially when there were the ones where I had to part of my job was to clean the restroom, at least partially. We had like cleaners that would come in the morning and do a thorough cleaning. But at more than one occasion, yes, there would be more than one occasion where it's like, it looked like they had like they shotgun blasted the wall, just like spots of fecal matter. And even today, like even though I don't have to clean restrooms anymore in my current job, there was an incident at my job where like somebody smeared, like not like they couldn't control their anal cavity, but they actively
they were creating art for you.
So we're off to a hell of a start. But I used to have a joke. I remember one time at work I got into an argument with one of my female coworkers. Not like a heated like we were like gonna kill each other argument about which gender had the worst restroom.
I know the answer to that. What did she say?
She said guys. I was
incorrect.
I was like, no, it's you do. Like it's like I had just cleaned a restroom so bad that I made like a joke about it, and it was early in my stand-up about how it looked like the set of Double Dare after they went through the obstacle course. There was slime and like cabals and red flags. I even like made a looking back, very mean Lindsay Lohan joke in part of that. So I was like, I'm sorry, Lindsay.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Didn't appreciate you for what you were.
No, I've seen some phenomenal things. At the one place I worked, we had a phantom pooper who several times, we assume it's the same person because it happened twice in one day and then it happened a week later.
Yeah, you start to lock in on patterns.
Yeah, that they were just pooping in the middle of the women's room floor, just in the middle of the floor. Like where you wash your hands, just poop. My absolute favorite was years and years and years ago when I worked in a whole different county. And the front house manager, and I was a cook back then, was like, everybody, I need you now in the women's room. We thought like, I don't know, there was an alligator. I don't know, something. She was so urgent. And we go in there and she's like, look on the ceiling in the women's room. Someone just like monkey palmed it.
Oh my God, that's like that scene out of Daddy Daycare where the little boy pees on the ceiling.
I did not see that, but yeah, I guess.
Oh, it's great.
I think even that's easier to do. You have to... there's so much work involved in that. And that place was a little more upscale than the other places I've worked.
Okay.
Upscale enough to be like, you have to pay, like, food here wasn't cheap. You know what I mean? I'm like, who is paying that money and then throwing feces on the ceiling? But it was
maybe it was some kind of protest.
Lower your prices. No, that was phenomenal. So, and the shotgun blast. Now that's like a regular thing.
I hate to say it. I know we're being disgusting right now.
I'm sorry. I would like to make this show all about feces.
Yeah. Say in the fecal realm. But no, it is weird. Like I'm sure like some of you guys are getting disgusted. And I'm sure some of you who aren't disgusted, but you're like, bro, I've been there. Like, or like, oh my God. Some of you probably thinking about, just last week or a month ago, or some of you may be going back. Like I remember things from like 5, 8, 10 years ago. And it's just like, and here's something. Sometimes accidents happen. But what you just described was an active decision.
That was...
She didn't like slip on a puddle of urine, land tummy down, and it'd be like, pow! And it went shut out.
You know what? If she had, I would have... If it were me, I'd be like, guys, you won't believe what just happened. Look, be impressed with myself if that happened. No, I don't. It's phenomenal. I just so many things like that, and it gets to be like. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Almost an interesting part of your day. I came into work one day, the one place I worked, and the manager ran up to me, so excited. Liz, there was a poop the size of a baby arm. You got to see it. And I was like, she's like, we don't want to flush it. I just got in.
Are you just stealing things from South Park now? Because you ever see that episode of South Park?
No,
there's an episode of South Park where like it's all about poop, where Randy he eats at like P.F. Chang's all week.
Oh, and I did see that.
Yeah,
one.
he has like a poop the size of a football. And then Bono comes in because he held the largest poop record before that, and he leaves a bigger poop. And then at the end of the episode, they find out no, Bono is a poop that evolved into a man. And I just love at the end because it's like the season after they won like an Emmy or something. And every once in a while throughout the episode when they'd be talking, they had like a graphic of an Emmy pop up and spin around and be like, this is an Emmy award winning show. And at the end of the episode when finally Randy had like the mega poop, it was like 10 like spiraled up. And then out of nowhere, like one of like the chancellors of like the I forget, like the European poop organization grabs the graphic of the Emmy, just like sticks it in the poop.
Oh my God.
You remember that?
I do remember that now. That's beautiful.
But I love how, wait, your manager, without revealing names, man or woman or something else? Woman. Wow, I was betting on man.
Yeah.
Because like.
She was so excited. And then as she said the sentence to me, she like caught herself and like realized I've just screamed at an employee I'm excited about poop. So maybe I should rethink all my life decisions. Like, you could just see that on her face. And I was like, okay. And she's like, well, go look at it. And I'm like, all right. It's like 9 a.m., you know, I'm like half asleep. And I'm like, fine, I guess I'll go look at some poop. It was really big, though. It did look like a baby arm. She was not wrong. It looked just like a baby arm. But yeah, so that's that's the fecal side of things. But it's always women's room. And I fought people on this. I have fought people on this too because, I would rather go to the men's room because they are less disgusting. I don't know why.
I guess what I'll say as a guy who frequents the men's room, surprise, surprise. I think often what the worst thing about the guys is like, especially like by the urinals, like we do get some pee on the floor. I ain't going to deny that. But with my experience, and once again, maybe you all have had different experiences. I mean, I'm feeling more comfortable now that you're backing me up on this. But all these years later, the conversation comes back. Is that whenever I would clean the women's rooms, like, once again, just like, not only would there might be some, like, pee on the ground, but to be, like, toilet paper all over the floor, too. Like, there was way more toilet paper on the floor in the women's restrooms than on the guys.
Always.
I don't know why, and I partially get it, because the thing about, like, you know, speaking like anatomy-wise, men can go in, pee, wash hands, hopefully wash hands. That's how I caught a guy at work not washing his hands. Anyway,
that's its own thing.
Yeah. And out. Women, you guys, there's more investment when you're in there. You have to sit down.
Toilet paper?
Yeah.
Sure.
You're not going in there just like, with toilet paper, you have to sit down. You know, you're in there doing the makeup real quick. If you're like, I don't know, you're on a date and you got to touch up. There's just more activity in there. And there's more activity leads to possible more mess. I think that's the correlation.
Well, that does make sense. That makes sense because the more time you spend in a place, obviously, and men are just in and out, shoop, shoop. So maybe that's why. Like men's room, at worst, they'll smell like some stale pee. I can handle that.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe times will change. I mean, now, like, you know, we can work, you know, with transgender people and, you know, gender fluid people. Maybe that's going to change. But if we're just
even
talking,
it out.
Yeah. That's the real task of the LGBTQ community. How the restrooms turned out, not equality and being treated like human beings. No. This is the truth. This
is the meat of the subject. Fix our bathrooms.
Take that, you politicians!
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So bathrooms I've talked about for a year, but that takes up a lot of time in service dealing with those things.
No. At my work, I've had to like keep an eye on the bathroom because we had this one customer who was like leaving like alcohol containers, cans, and bottles in there, and then the whole place would smell like alcohol. And we had to eventually talk to the person and be like, hey, we know you're doing that. You're usually cool with everything else, but if you keep doing that, we're gonna kick you. You're gonna be out for
like. Is this your currently or old job?
This is I guess I should. But it is a current job issue. But we
Wow.
we spoke to the person, and they were like, you know what? I'll stop because I really like this place. This place means more to me than having a drink in the middle of the day.
All
So,
right.
and I want to get it's somebody who obviously has an alcohol issue. So I'm not condemning the person, but it's just like it's still the place. You still have the bathroom can't smell like this. So and they were cool about it. They were chill.
Well, that was very understanding of you, the way you handled that. I'm just saying, I think like a lot of people would be like condemning, and you didn't. So
no, well, I mean, yeah, I try to like otherwise this customer is very cool. Like they never do anything else bad or nothing. Now. I'm more condemning of the poopers because usually I don't get to confront them. Usually, there's
I would
no
love
way.
to confront a pooper.
Yeah, I
just want that sound bite, please. I'd love to confront a pooper.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks.
I'll send you put it on your ringtone. Yeah, text message. I'd love to confront a pooper. Everyone's like,
What the? Oh, that's Liz. Oh. Yeah. So that's the judge with that. As far as other fun stories, not super long ago, after COVID, this guy was so. The only reason I say that is because he kept getting closer and closer to me,
right.
And it was like, do you know what I mean? And you're like, don't you remember these trying times? You're not supposed to get this close to me, because he was getting more and more angry and like spittily.
Oh yeah.
Because what he wanted was French fries.
French fries
With no salt.
French fries with no salt. Okay.
No, except that the French fries at that place are pre-salted. They're like in
I
a
was about to
brine,
ask.
so you can't do anything about it, And I tried to explain that to him, and he was like, well, I just want them without salt. I'm like,
Can't do that.
can't people in hell want ice water? I don't know what to tell you. I can't do anything about that for
It's
you.
like saying I want mint chocolate chip without the chips. It's like I ain't gonna pick those out for you, bro.
At least that is doable.
That's not
Technically.
doable. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Like that is a task that you're gonna have to undertake yourself.
I've had people, one place that had chili, and there was a person who would ask me to get her chili without the beans. That's a you thing, girl.
That's it. I'm not a big bean guy.
Well, then don't order it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But if I were to, and it turned out it did have beans, I wouldn't complain to the waiter or waitress or server, whatever. I'd just be like, okay, I'm gonna pick them out myself. I'm not gonna bother them.
Sure, but I mean, she knows the majority of the recipe was beans, and I'll be like, can you take them out? And I'll be like, and I'll just give her like, anyways, doesn't matter. So this guy is getting very spittily and upset with me. Well, my mother has high blood pressure. She can't have any salt. And I was like, well, how about these other options? We can do a baked potato or, these other things that you can get that don't have salt on them. And he was insistent. And he was like, well, just wash the fries.
What?
He wanted me to wash the fries.
Like before you even cook them?
Yeah. And I tried to explain, I'm getting more and more irritated, so my niceness is going down, but I'm still professional, And I'm like, okay, well, if we get the potatoes wet, and we can't really put them in a fryer, the whole thing, and it won't take it off anyways. Yeah. And he's like, I need to see your manager. And I finally got to do the thing I wanted to do my entire life.
Ooh.
I said, you know what, sir? I am a manager. Because I was, and but I was in regular clothes, so he didn't realize that. It's like, I am the manager, and I can guarantee everything I said is true.
Oh my God, that's a bragging moment. We actually get to say you're the manager.
I felt so good. I wish I'd done like the thing where people like spin around and like, hello. But I probably did enough as it was. He was pretty angry, and he settled for the fries with.
Yeah, because I want to make it clear, like, I know the restaurant you work at, and it's not like it's not the super fancy one you were talking about before, right?
No.
And here's the thing, we talk about this is why I have like that little like tagline at the beginning of each episode: not good service, good servitude, because their expectations are just out of this fucking world. I'm talking about like they just don't understand. Like, hey, listen, if his request was due to health reasons, I get that, but hey, man, like. I'm sorry, just like if it comes with it, it comes with it. And like to wash them, I'm like, that's when he's just like, now his anger's taking over and the actual reasoning part of his brain is shut off.
Shut down.
Yeah. Because that's actually a real medical thing. Like when you get angry enough, the part of your brain that actually reasons and logics, it like shuts down.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I found that out recently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So somebody said, like, when someone says something out of anger and you're like, well, did you mean it? And they're like, I meant it at the time. They're not lying. At the time, they meant it. They now don't mean it now, and they regret it because because now like they're calmed down.
Again,
they're calmed down. Not that it cancels out what they say. You say some nasty crap. I don't care what state of mind you're in. You said some nasty crap. Own up to it. But yeah, no, but it's just like I don't know. I think it's just because, like I said before, because I've worked in customer service most of my life. Most of my adult life. Like, I try to be reasonable. Like, and every once in a while, I'll still have like some happen. Like, hey, there's a legit long hair in my salad. Can I get another salad? And they're like, oh God, I'm sorry. They bring me new salad. New salad's okay. Now, if I had a second hair in the second salad, I'd be like, you know what? Don't salad, and I'm like, I ain't coming back here. I've been to places where I was like, I don't know, I don't like rip them apart. I just don't come back because like I don't like.
That's the thing that always kills me because people will be like, the last time, last 3 times, and I'm like, why are you coming back? Like, something is now wrong with you if you keep coming back to a place that is not satisfying you.
Yeah, no, I've seen customers do that before. They're like, God, every time I come here, it's like, stop coming here. Why do you like? If it's one thing where it's like there's no restaurant or bar or whatever, and there's nowhere else near where you live, and it's just convenient, I kind of get it. But after is the convenience worth it at that point? Or like
this is Pittsburgh. There were other places to go, like 20 yards away.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to come to where we were.
Yeah.
It's just super. It kills me. It's just so funny, and I just don't understand. I had once a manager, a GM, beautiful moment as well, where it was these guests, every time they came in, there was something wrong. And he finally said, you know what? I don't think that we can accommodate you. I don't think we're able to. And they were very shocked, and they did come back after that for some reason. I think if the GM told me we're not able to accommodate you, I would just never show my face again.
Yeah.
But no, they came back and were better. I remember them being less whiny, but I just don't understand it. There's so many places to go.
I know, right? Yeah, no, like if we live here, for anybody who's whether you're tuning in on YouTube or you're looking on Spotify or wherever you're tuning in, which by the way, once again, thank you for listening. We're here in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, we're not the biggest city, but we're a very active city. There's multiple places in Pittsburgh, multiple areas where you can find good bars, good restaurants, good forms of entertainment. You can go to the South Side, you can go to Oakland, you can go to the waterfront. We got plenty of malls and areas that can go to places. So especially in this town, yes, there are other options. We're also a very old town, so you will find those old neighborhood bars that have been around for 40 years.
It's my bread and butter.
I know I've got a few I like going to. So especially because it's just funny because you'll get the old, as we call them here in Pittsburgh, the yinzers, the people who've been going to that bar since it opened, and they say stuff. They'll say stuff that you may not agree with, but you find it funny.
Wow, that's a very nice way to put that. And I've definitely had that experience where people say some stuff and I don't agree with them.
Yeah.
And if I'm 3 drinks in, I vocally don't agree with them.
Yeah.
If I'm no drinks in, they're yinzers. It's Chinatown. Forget about it,
Yeah. It's always funny where it's somebody who's coming off very friendly, but they say some stuff and you're like, oh, it's just still stuck in the past. You're like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's almost like grandpa syndrome. Grandpa or mostly grandpa, to be honest. Grandma just doesn't say nothing. But grandpa will say some stuff and okay, grandpa, I don't think that's an accurate statement about the Polish people, but I love you.
I don't think we say that word anymore. Grandpa, it's not great.
Yeah, it's like that grandpa mentality. That's
it's not even always. I did years ago. Again, hey, look, restaurants. This lady came in and she wanted a server, but she couldn't think of her name. And she was like, oh, I can't. She's so nice. I can't think of her name. I think it starts with an L. She's an Afro-American.
What?
An Afro-American. And I was like, I know you mean well. That's not the right term. We're close. We're real close.
Yeah, there's a few letters off.
Real close here, buddy. And again, that's one of those times where you're like, no harm is meant. It's less horrible than other things I've heard. I think she just thinks that's the term. And the worst part is when she said that, I went, oh, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. It'd be hilarious if that was her thinking she was being politically incorrect with them.
I think she did. I think she thought the term is Afro-American.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to take it slowly with that stuff because there's a new term every couple of years, coming out. And that's why take it slow. And I pay attention. I got friends who for instance, going back to LBGT, they're they, them. And I do my best to remember, And I'll admit I've screwed up a couple times. I screwed up a couple times because like I grew up most of my life being he, she, that. But it's a matter of respect. I find that most people will forgive that if they can tell you're being a genuine person. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I've rarely had a trouble with people that when I made the mistake and they just nicely correct me, and I'm like, now I know.
Yeah. But Afro.
Yeah, that was a new one, and I feel bad because I literally was like, oh yeah.
Oh, you actually laughed right in front of them?
Oh, I could not. Just a little quick burst. I don't think she noticed. She was an elderly little lady, but I just couldn't help it.
Her eyesight stopped just right in front of your face, so she could see.
You're like, it's fine, you can't see. But yeah, yeah. So let me think of other fun story. Oh, I have had the place I used to work. I was a cover manager. So pretty much the only times I ever did manager things was always when it was an issue. As always like, hey, no one else can, the managers are stuck doing so whatever. Hey, can you go talk to this table that's already furious?
Oh, wonderful.
I had a situation where the people didn't know I wasn't a server. I took them because I was helping.
Right.
Like, it wasn't my shift. I was done. I was supposed to leave. I was trying to help, so I stayed after, and I took this table.
Well, commendable. I'll give you a little respect there.
Thank you. And I took a party of, I think it was 8.
Ooh.
And they were not pleasant people to begin with. And they kept just being really, like in the way that they ordered a salad, and they said no egg on it. And you just say, I would like a salad, no egg. And they were like, no eggs. If I see an egg, I will throw the egg at you or something like that. Like, really, really dramatic. And I was like, okay. So anyways, the food, unfortunately, right? Like, was their house egged all their lives? Were they no Humpty Dumpty personally? Like, but what happened is the salad went out to them with egg, even though I put no egg.
Ooh.
Kitchen messed up. Somebody else ran it for me. And they freaked out and they said, we should throw this salad at you. Like, who is that dramatic about something? Right. Oh my gosh. And let me take back the whole thing. I apologize. It wasn't an egg. It was a tomato. And important to say this because they're cherry tomatoes. I'm allergic to tomatoes. If you put a cherry tomato on my salad, I'm going to take it off because it's a cherry tomato. Yeah. It's not going to affect your salad. And they really lost their crap at me. And I was like, but here's the thing. You have 2 possibilities, 2 things you can do in these situations. You can get angry right along with them, or you can kill them with kindness to the degree where you're kind of being an asshole. Yeah.
Oh, yes, passive aggressive kind of crap. Yeah.
I took that route. I was so nice. When they left, I went after them and said, have a great night. Come back. Ask for me. They called our corporate office on me. Oh. And they said, quote, she was too nice. My corporate office was so confused. I'm like, do we give her a gift card? Do we give you a gift card? Like, I'm confused. And they literally did phrase it like that. She was just so overly nice and I was so mad about it. And they were like, we want that, right? Like, this isn't one of those theme restaurants where like they're mean to you.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
They didn't explain it. They didn't explain it to corporate well enough to be like, I was actually being an ass.
Yeah.
But
all they had to do was say was like she was being very passive aggressive.
Yeah, that's all.
Apparently they don't have the language skills because they were still hung up on. She was so nice, and the tomatoes.
There were tomatoes.
Right? My father worked on the set of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and it was very traumatic for him.
Oh, that's lovely.
Little callback for you film snobs back there.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that the overall premise from working in restaurants for years and years and years is I never understand why people get so worked up and serious. It's food. Or like when you worked at the movie theater, like it's an experience you're going to have for like 2 hours. So if something bad happens during that time, like, is it that, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Like, I mean, to a degree I can understand where like the customers are coming out. Like, cause I remember this one time I remember the movie too. It was The Help. Yeah.
Dating that one back.
Yeah. So, huge hit. That movie was like, we were like selling out theaters. We had to like, at first we had it in one theater. We didn't expect it to be a huge hit. We had it in one theater, then we had to up it to one of the bigger auditoriums, and then we just put it in 2 auditoriums because we were like, it was selling out so much.
I didn't realize it was that. I love movies, but I don't go to theaters very much because
Well, it's a different, like,
poor.
like I said, from like, like, I'm talking from a movie theater experience working there. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes a movie, it didn't happen very often. Most of the time we were pretty new, like, we knew, like, okay, this is going to do this well.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Every once in a while.
You didn't see that coming. Okay.
Yeah, every once in a while, you're like, okay, we put it like in the medium-sized theaters, but after like Friday night opening, we're like, fuck, we got to put it in like the bigger theater. That happened pretty rarely. Most of the time, we were like, okay, this Harry Potter movie, we put in the big theater.
Right.
This is Miley Cyrus is in this movie, we're gonna put in this size theater. Yeah.
Was she in movies?
She did it. Yeah, she's been in movies. Not a lot, because like there was her when she was starting to transition out of Disney. Like she was in some movie with her future on and off again boyfriend Liam Hemsworth. I forget what it was called.
Oh.
But she like at the beach, and she's like a teenage girl that has to hang out with her dad that she hates.
Oh, that sounds like one of those films that I would never see.
It wasn't bad. It was just kind of forgettable. It was like nothing. Anyway, points.
Sorry.
So The Help. Huge hit. Then, for what reason, and to this day, I still don't know what went wrong. The audio cut out in the last 20 minutes of the movie. Just cut out. I was working projection that day, and I think I was like somewhere else because it was like I had time before I had to get back upstairs. Because heads up, the projectionists aren't always up in the booth all the time. We're up there most of the time, but sometimes you got to come down and use the bathroom. Anyway.
No, just pee yourself.
Or like concession got slammed and they're like, okay, you started the last movie, can you come downstairs and help us clean concession? Stuff like that.
Because technically it should just run itself.
Yeah, after you hit start. No, not saying that the problems never occur, which is a pain in the butt. But this is especially during like when we still have 35 millimeter film. This was like the actual film, which we hadn't gone digital yet. So I couldn't just pause, rewind, or like try again. This was 35 millimeter film, and I don't know, maybe other theaters had different, but the film only went one way. There was no rewind on 35 millimeter film, at least with the projectors we had. Cut out, and I'm trying every trick I know. I'm pressing every button. I'm resetting things, buttons, switches. I'm trying all the cheats that I was taught by a guy who was like a licensed projectionist.
Like up, down.
Yeah, exactly. ABB, up, down, yeah. I'm doing the dumb stuff. I'm doing like this little trick I learned with like where you pull on the film at one point and it resets the sensor and stuff like that. I'm trying everything. I'm going between stereo and mono. I'm doing everything. I'm not joking. I was like, the only button I didn't hit was the off button because that wasn't going to do any fucking good.
At some point, you just get the script and you're like, okay, hold on. Yeah. Where were we? And then she says.
Yeah. But unfortunately, couldn't get the audio to come back on, and I can't tell you why. It was just some random-ass glitch, because the next showing, it worked fine.
Of course it did.
But I'm down, and like there's a whole theater of people who are now pissed off, and I had this one married couple, who were just got in my face and were screaming at me like, we only get out once in a while, and we have kids, and we finally got a babysitter. Like, they were like furious, and to a degree, like, I get you're upset, but at the same time, like, you're talking like you hate your kids. I feel like, like, it's just like, our kids, and it was a guy and his wife. They were both like,
maybe they're shitty kids.
Yeah. So to a degree, I get it, because sometimes you don't get to go out often, and I said before on the show, wherever you go, where bar, restaurant, movie theater, wherever you're going or wherever you're like calling, you deserve good customer service.
That's
but
true.
There's limits and stuff like that, and just like you gotta understand, so sometimes just stuff happens, and accidents happen, and like your woman with the tomato on the salad. Oh no, we gotta go back and make you another salad real quick. I mean, once again, I've never been a cook. I assume a salad takes a minute, maybe a 2 or 3, depending on if like there's I got grilled chicken in my salad. Where's my grilled chicken? Like, oh no, you gotta wait 5 minutes for your grilled chicken. I don't know.
No, it doesn't take long. It isn't a big deal. Yeah. But the fact that, so you're right. You are right though, because I don't spend money a lot on entertainment or going out. So when I do, it's kind of like a little treat. And so it's a little disappointing, but also it's life, and life things happen.
Yeah, I know. Just sometimes, I mean, and I remember one time at an old job, I had a customer come back and apologize to me about something, which was like weird. It never happened. It's when I worked at an ice cream shop, and she was like, can I get some like chocolate syrup on my ice cream? I was like, sure, just to let you know that costs extra. And she was just like, how much extra? And I think it was like, I don't know, 60 cents, something like that. And I was just like, she's like, well, I want chocolate syrup. Can you just not charge me? I was like, ma'am, I have to charge you it's considered extra. And she's like, fine, if you're going to be a dick like that. And I'm just like, what the hell did you just say? I'm like, I was like, whatever, fine.
For 60 cents, bro.
I'm still getting your money. And then whatever, say whatever. And then like, I think a couple months later, she came in and she apologized. She said, like, hey, I'm really sorry. You didn't deserve that. I was like in a bad mood that day. And she apologized.
That's amazing.
I know. Never happened again. I never had
so rarely.
Yeah. Oh my God. But anyway.
No, I had a lady that she called and was like, wanted to order the potato wedges. And we didn't have potato wedges. We'd never had potato wedges. I'd worked for the company for a long time. Potato wedges weren't a thing. And she was like, no, I got them last week. And I'm like, I don't think you did. Well, it started with somebody else answered the phone. Somebody else answered it, and then they gave it to another person. And then that person gave it to me, like, get the cover. And then I was like, I'm going to get the GM because you won't believe me. So the GM is telling this lady, we don't have this item. She's furious, and she hangs up, and she lives her life. Like a week later, I get a call, and she's like, hey, so I had the wrong restaurant. I'm real sorry about. And I was like, you know what? Props to you. You didn't have to call me back. You didn't have to admit you were wrong. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I still don't.
Yeah.
But she just called to say, I just want to apologize to everybody. It was my mistake, and I feel bad for the way I talked to everyone. And I was just like, dear diary, today something amazing happened.
So to the chocolate syrup customer and to the potato wedge ladies, by any chance, if you're out there listening, thank you for being an adult. Because like I've screwed up, we all make mistakes, we're all human. But actually, like that's what I can respect. Like if you can own up to your crap, you got my respect. At least So, thank you for being like grown ups and acting this. So,
few and far between.
Yeah.
To you. Yeah. I always find owning up to your mistakes is better. People respect you more.
Oh yeah.
Like when I am working and I did the wrong thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then people are like, it's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is trying to like not own up to it. That people get mad.
I know. I've screwed up before. I remember one time one thing at the movie thing.
Well, you worked there a long time.
I was there for many years. So I was working box office, and I thought we were closing down box office and just having people go back to concession where you could also order tickets. So I say to the guy who was like waiting in line for a while. I'm like, sorry, sir, we're closing down box office. And I thought they like were asking me to go like help in concession or go help usher or clean the theater. And I go back, and they're like, no, not you. And I'm like, I ran back out to box office, and I'm like, reopen. And the guy came back up and was like, this is ridiculous. Like, or he said something. He was like visibly upset, right? Like angry. And I said, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm going to ring you up real quick, and then you'll never have to see my ass again. and then there was a microsecond where I'm like, oh my God, I said ass in front of a customer. I'm in so much trouble. But he laughed. Like I recovered the situation. He laughed, and he was like, don't worry about it, buddy. And so night recovered.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Oh, goddamn, there's some good stories.
Yeah. I'm 40 years old, and I've worked in restaurants since I was 15, so that's a lot of horrible people. And nice people.
Yeah, yes. That's one of these days. One of these days, I do want to do an episode where I have like somebody come on or have some returning guest, and we just talk about actually like memorable, positive customer interactions. I maybe for a Christmas episode, maybe for Christmas. Holiday cheer, customer service jobs.
Well, I mean,
I had a customer give me like M&Ms one time. It was great.
That's the cutest.
Yeah, it was this guy who came in all the time. He was like, and I was checking one of the movies, making sure nobody was like on their phone or being loud. And he does one of these where like fingers like come here. And I'm just like, I thought he's gonna, someone's messing with this guy. And he was once again, he was a regular that I knew. He was a really nice guy, sweet guy. And he came over and he just gave me peanut M&Ms. I was like, oh,
like from the bag or like
yeah. He bought peanut M&Ms at concession, and he saw me and he just like, I'm like, I thought he had a complaint about it. He just gave me M&Ms. It was great.
Yeah, twist. He put all those M&Ms up his ass.
And we're back to the poop.
Anyway. Circle.
Anyway, Liz, thanks for coming on and doing the show. I really
thank you.
It. I think it was a fun episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you are enjoying this episode, follow or subscribe depending on where you're tuning in. Leave us some comments down in the comment section. Let Liz know what you think about her stories, or if you got some similar stories to share, whether they're of a fecal nature or not.
That's going to be my autobiography of a fecal nature.
Fecal nature. This woman on your tombstone. This woman saw some shotguns.
She saw some shit. No, really.
But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on The Patronarchy. Take it easy.